Hello everybody, how are you doing? What a win it was for City. What a victory. We were down in the dumps, down on the verge of defeat, and we have conquered it. Conquered it at Goodison Park, but Goodison Park was not even closely dramatic to this performance. And at the center stage of this is that exact moment you can see on your screen, the picture on your screen. Oscar Bobb, it was an unbelievable pass. It was a pass only the greatest midfielder to have ever played the Premier League could have made. Kevin De Bruyne could have made, but then the run behind the defender, Newcastle defender, the skill to take the ball, it is almost an elastico type of skill, which Ronaldinho used to do, to take the ball away from the Newcastle goalkeeper, who by the way had a fantastic game, and to put it in the back of the net, evading another defender. Only Oscar Bobb could have scored for us today. Other players were missing open goals. Only Oscar Bobb could have scored for us today. What trust by Pep Guardiola on this guy? Newcastle away, St James's Park, hostile stadium, could have easily settled for a point when it was 2-2. No, in the 82nd minute, he takes off. Jeremy Doku brings on Oscar Bobb. The trust shown by Pep Guardiola and Oscar Bobb, the run which is made and the connection. I just don't know how that connection was made between De Bruyne and Oscar Bobb, because that such passes only happen when the winger and the midfielder have been playing with each other for years. It reminded me of Stoke City. Kevin De Bruyne made that pass which took nine Stoke City players away, out of the game, and Leroy Sane was, it was the exact run, but this one was just more difficult than what Sane did. But just a bit on Oscar Bobb. For me, watching Oscar Bobb the previous week when he made that pre-pass to Phil Foden and pre-assist, you could say, to Phil Foden. Foden gave it to Alvarez, I think, for a goal. Bernardo Silva, I don't remember, but that reminded me of David Silva, of the way Oscar Bobb made that slide rule pass to Phil Foden for a pre-assist, because David Silva had a lot of pre-assists. If you count David Silva's pre-assists as well, I think no one can catch him in the assist chart. But David Silva has a lot of pre-assists, which most people don't give him credit for. So Oscar Bobb reminded me of David Silva then, but now watching this run, Oscar Bobb actually reminded me of Leroy Sane. You cannot do this run without a, I mean, great wingers. When you classify great wingers, yes, you can say Vinicius Junior dribbles well. You can say Jeremy Doku dribbles well. You could say Pedro Neto dribbles well. You could, you could say Rodrigo dribbles well. I mean, whatever the uh, great wingers you can name, but there are certain category of wingers who are above these kinds of wingers, these kinds of, your Vinicius Juniors and stuff, uh, with their off the ball movement, and they're rare. Why Leroy Sané is such a rare breed of a winger and he can't be compared to other kinds of people like your Vinicius Juniors and stuff, is because of his off the ball movement. There are some wingers like Sterling whose off the ball movement is fantastic, but finishing is not. But Leroy Sané's off the ball movement is good and his finishing is also good. They are a rare breed, and for me, looking back at this, because in that moment you just don't realize anything. It's just, eruption, 91st minute, Oscar Bob scores and stuff. But when you go back, relax a bit, and look at Oscar Bob's off the ball movement, he manipulated the defender with off the ball movement, and that for me at 19 years of age is a fantastic skill. It's another thing, beating your man one dribbling 1v1, because that is, again, it depends on percentage, how many dribbles you can complete. They can double up on you and lot of that thing. There are few ways to stop that, but when you have such classic off the ball movement, defending off the ball movements is one of the most difficult things in world football. Why does Raheem Sterling always, he used to get into that position? He wouldn't finish, but that's another thing. Off the ball movement, why would Sergio Aguero get into those positions of the ball movement? So I think I've seen that off the ball movement with Oscar Bob, coupled with his finishing skills, that high school finishing skills. There will not be a much more difficult finish under a more difficult circumstance. Could be in the Champions League and stuff for Oscar Bob in the future, but this will this will rank in his top three, top five more most difficult finishes. That the finishing was not easy, but that off the ball run, it's still, I'm sitting here and thinking about that Oscar Bob's off the ball run. Well, this is the off the ball run of a mature winger who's fought a lot of, you know, blood hardened battles with top fullbacks, and he's matured and evolved, and he has made, and then he will be able to make this run, you know. That's how much of a maturity I've seen in Oscar Bobb's off the ball movement today. For me, that entire goal was, yes, Kevin De Bruyne made the pass, but that entire goal was, for me, it was about Oscar Bobb's off the ball movement. The pass was, by the way, extraordinary. But again, the off the ball movement, I just can't stop talking about it because what a talent we have, what a talent we have, because it is rare. You tell me how many wingers are there in Premier League or even in world football who can make those off the ball movements. You can count on fingertips probably. There are not many at all, there are not many at all. Fantastic day for City's academy, day for City's fans, day for our entire team, day for everyone associated with City. Especially seeing one of our own winning us a match at an away ground in St James's Park and celebrating like that. This could be one of those moments for me. You know, there are certain moments that, you know, pointed out that yes, our academy is going in the right way. You always needed those kinds of uh, moments. For me, one of that moment was, you know, Champions League Spurs game. I think it was roundabout in 2019 Feb or something, where it was 4-4 and Sterling scores a goal. It was offside and stuff, and it was a neck-to-neck title race. We were 1 point ahead of Liverpool, and the next game was also Spurs. I think it was Spurs away as well. Spurs away. No, not Spurs away. It was Spurs at our home, and Pep started Phil Foden. Foden scores a goal there. We win it 1-0. For me, that signified a significant moment. Pep trusting someone, you know, to take on the baton in the title race, where a single mistake that day and we would not have won the title then. We would have ended trophyless that season. So that was a significant moment for the academy. And after that, for me, Rico Lewis was another significant moment for me. You know, last season Chelsea, we were not doing anything well. Last season at Stamford Bridge, you know, half time, Joao Cancelo was having an awful game. He was subbed off. Who did Pep put in the middle? Pep put Rico Lewis in the middle. Pep trusted Rico Lewis to get him out of the slump. We had to win it, or else we would fall what 10 11 points behind Arsenal. January the mid, we were 8 points behind already. Pep trusted Rico Lewis. That for me was the second point in Pep in the coming of age of the academy. And this for me is the third point in the coming of age of the academy. We thought it would be with Cole Palmer, but okay, it didn't work out. But this for me is the third point. Pep trusting Oscar Bob, hostile atmosphere, and Oscar Bob delivering. Third significant point that our academy is on the right track. This is surely a turning point for the academy. Everyone will celebrate today, but the loudest will be City's academy that will be celebrating to see one of our own, and City's fans that will be celebrating to see one of their own, you know, doing that stuff in front of uh, one of the most difficult stadiums in world football. PSG came here and lost at this stadium. AC Milan was almost losing at the stadium, St James's Park. Not an easy stadium at all. Arsenal lost here, I think, this season. So not an easy stadium at all, St James's Park. Fantastic from City. And remember the name, guys, Oscar Bobb. What, and King Kevin, then the comeback of King Kevin. But for me, I think this moment, let it belong to Oscar Bobb, you know. He reminds me of Leroy Sane and David Silva combined together. But today, more than any other day, he reminded me of Leroy Sane. We have got Leroy Sane back for me, just looking at this performance. Anyway, guys, see you all and take care. And what a night it was. Woohoo! Woo!